In one of the group coaching sessions I led, a client told me that her husband was driving her crazy. She knew it wasn't his intention. She knew it wasn't his fault that she was annoyed, but that didn't change the fact that she felt annoyed. For confidentiality, I won't go into any specifics, but the gist was that this woman's husband was struggling with something at work, and for a couple weeks, it's all he talked about. He sought her advice multiple times on the exact same problem and ruminated on all the different scenarios that might play out. In other words, he was overthinking a situation that was out of his control, and now he was bringing his wife into it, whether she wanted to be involved or not. At first, she was supportive, but as the days went on and his rumination and overthinking spiraled, she found herself unable to enjoy any of her downtime because she knew that whether she had 30 minutes of quiet or 2 hours, at some point, her husband was going to come home, walk through the door, and resume his stream of consciousness about work. Even when nothing was happening, she felt triggered. I get some version of this story from plenty of clients, especially the ones who married overthinkers or pathological problem solvers. Here's how I coached her through it. You can go deeper by subscribing to my podcast. The link is in the description below. Hope this helps.
The way we're all taught how to solve problems is to think. And so it feels like, well, if I think a little, then maybe I'll get it. But if I think a lot, maybe I'll really get to the answer. But it's like, there's this place where it switches over. And Now it's not like you're just going deeper and deeper into the problem instead of actually finding solutions. Like one of the thoughts that you just said that popped out at me, it was like, I'm really trying to be a loving wife, right? Like I'm trying to do this is the things that I need to do to be a loving wife. And it sounds like some of these things are at the expense of your wellness, right? Like maybe you're taking on too many bags of shit. Like maybe being a loving wife, the rules that you have for that, maybe there's something in there that just needs to be tweaked, or there's like another layer of a boundary that might need to be set. Or it's like, if I am going to choose that I'm going to listen to whatever he's complaining about or whatever he's working through, if I'm going to choose to do that, then I need to really clean up my thoughts about it because it's starting to impact my downtime, right? It's like, I think it's probably like the busy stuff probably helps so that you're not thinking it as much. And then when you have some downtime and then you're like, any minute now, he's going to come in with all his bags of shit. Let me eat to feel better. Right. It sounds like there's something that's like out of alignment or out of integrity for you right now. And it might be uncomfortable to know, like, there's another layer here, like there's another boundary that I need to be setting. Then saying to yourself, like, what is it that you're going to do so that you aren't spending this little chunk of time that you have to yourself, your downtime, thinking about something, that's alerting your nervous system. Like what's the energetic boundary you can do for yourself? Like when you start noticing this and knowing it's like not actually coming from another person, it's like coming from inside the house. It's like knowing, what am I going to do in that moment? Like, how can I pay attention to when I realize it's not coming from external, but it's internal. Like, how can I recognize it quicker? What do I need to give myself in that moment so I can move out of it?